fire away.
So, Matthew, you're back in Eugene for Track Down Tuesday. What's it like to be back, and sort of your feelings about just what the last few months have been like?
It's always great being back in Eugene. I actually had the chance to come out, I want to say 3-4 weeks ago, and worked out with some of the U of O guys for the day. And yeah, it's just always nice coming back, seeing familiar faces, people I haven't seen obviously in a while, and obviously college teammates and coaches. So yeah, it's great to be back.
What'd you think of that basketball run?
Oh man, it made March Madness so, like, honestly, like, I get into March Madness, but like having a team to cheer for and root for, like, I definitely felt more invested this year. But it was fun. I got to watch the Kansas game down in San Francisco at a Duck Bar with AJ Costa and some other former teammates, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So unfortunately, it's kind of a tough ending, especially with the rebounds. I would like to see at least a missed, 3-pointer or something, but it was a lot of fun.
You've had almost a year now with the gold medal. Have you gotten used to the fact you're a gold medalist?
No, and it's weird to think it's been almost a year because it's gone so quick. Just been going everywhere and seeing everyone I can see. They're just, taking a good amount of downtime after Rio. But yeah, it's weird. Every now and then I'll just wake up, or it just kind of dawns on me that, like, I reached the pinnacle of the sport, and so yeah, it was hard to find motivation right afterwards, but it's kind of sunk in a little bit now, and yeah, just kind of moving on to next year.
That must have been the goal for so many years, for so long, kind of gearing up for that and gearing up for that. How do you recalibrate now and move forward?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of what I've been doing even before Rio, just kind of taking it 1 year at a time. I'm not looking at it as, all right, Tokyo now, and going back and repeating. It's just more like, what are some new exciting goals for me? I did some over-distance races indoors, and going after some records now. So just kind of putting some things on the plate that are kind of new and exciting to me and keeping me hungry. And yeah, when Tokyo comes around, it'll come around. And if I continue doing the small goals I have leading up to that, then I'll put myself in a great position to repeat, or at least come away with some more hardware.
What records are you looking at?
The 1500 is probably the number one right now. I think I'm third on the list right now, and we just have many more opportunities running the 15 than the mile. But I mean, that mile time too by Alan Webb is pretty steep. I don't think anyone's run faster since, so obviously a testament of how good that record is. But definitely the 1500 right now.
I think I read an interview from maybe November where you talked about last year it wasn't about running fast, it was about winning.
Yeah.
Is running fast back on the table than this
Definitely.
year?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, last year, and what that meant was, for me, staying in the U.S. and getting some good training in Park City leading up to Rio, instead of going over to Europe and running I didn't run any Diamond Leagues actually last year. Mainly because of my early season injury, but leading up to Rio, I knew getting better training and staying domestically in Park City and racing guys like Clayton Murphy and different events would be best for my preparation. And so this year I'm going to be, luckily London is over in Europe and before the World Champs, and I'll get a chance to run some Diamond League races before and after World Champs, and that'll allow me to go after some of these times I'm talking about right now. So, did
you get out of the indoor season what you wanted to?
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing we changed with Alberto was my lifting, and I kind of laid it off the weights a little bit, and kind of felt like it didn't serve its purpose, what we wanted out of it, and so now I'm kind of back lifting and doing kind of the same stuff I've been doing with our strength coach. And so, yeah, indoors obviously didn't go quite as well as I wanted to, but that's why we run it and kind of evaluate where we are and where we're at. And so it was a nice little wake-up call for me, and definitely found more hunger, I guess, than I did going into the indoor season.
What's on tap for you this season? Like, when do things really get going for you,
competition-wise? Probably pre-classic is always a good first competitive meet of the season. I'll have a 5K at Stanford, and then hopefully I'll get into a mile race this weekend actually down in Tempe. So just kind of, yeah, everything leading up to it would be kind of be focused on running fast and competing against a lot of those top milers in the world over in Africa that will come over for it. And so, like I said, last year I didn't get a chance to race in any Diamond League meets, so it'll be fun to kind of get back into them this year.
That's Stanford meet talking about Peyton Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was going to ask you about the 5,000. Any thoughts as you start to look ahead? Is the 5,000 on the agenda? Is it a more serious race for you?
Not really. I mean, I think there's still a lot of, for me at least, a lot of unfinished business in the 1500. Like, I think I could lower my PR by quite a bit, and I'd like to do that before even thinking about moving up. But running an early season 5K is something I've been doing since college, and so to me it's not like anything new, and it's obviously worked in the past, and so just kind of moving from that strength phase over and transitioning to the 1,500 mile specific workouts, and it's just a perfect time of year to kind of get into one. So
what are your thoughts on the men's 1500 in the U.S. in general right now? It seems like a lot of young guys, a lot of Oregon Ducks in that field right now. And what are your thoughts about your competition domestically?
Oh, I mean, just look at the Olympics. I think, you know, obviously it was unfortunate for Robbie Andrews to get DQ'd over for him stepping inside, but that would have been the first time ever we've had 3 Americans qualify for the final, and he was obviously very close and was capable of doing it. So I think that just shows you, and that we would have been the only country, I think, with all 3 athletes in the final. So that being said, with Ben finishing 8th, I think it shows that, you know, now when you make these teams, especially in the 1500, now you're vying for a medal at these World Championships and Olympic Games. So, yeah, making the teams now is not an easy feat. And I remember even since 2011 when people asked me about going back in London and trying to get a medal, I was like, first things first is making the team. You know, it's not an easy thing to do these days. And so, yeah, I think when one of us starts winning medals, I think it's just kind of contagious, and everyone sees that, you know, hey, I used to race against this guy, or I used to be competitive with this guy, and kind of feel like they're capable of doing it as well. So,
any concerns at all about, you know, the British press seems to have gotten, they can't seem to let go of the Alberto L-carnitine stuff. Any concerns at all about that and being a member of the Oregon Project?
No concerns for me individually. I mean, that was in 2011, I believe, and I wasn't even part of the group. So, one, I'm not really, you know, too, I guess, knowledgeable of what was going on, or even what it is, to be honest with you. The only thing I'm concerned about was just kind of taking away from Alberto and his energy. And, you know, back in 2015, when a lot of the accusations came out, he had to leave camp and go back to Portland and, you know, come back with all the rebuttal stuff that he had to get rid of. So really just kind of taken away from the coach, and that's the only thing I'm concerned about is more Alberto's health and keeping him stress-free, and yeah, and having him around for practices and coming to our training camps. So other than that, individually, no, it hasn't really, don't really know much about it, and hasn't really, you know, I haven't lost much sleep over it. So.
Well, Matthew, thanks for taking some time with us, and good luck to you in the season ahead.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, guys.